Hey, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to the broadcast tonight. Um, kind of somber, really. Uh, a lot of stuff's went on the last few days, and I know this was really. Hold on a second. I don't have a whole lot of light here. Let me adjust this a little bit. Got my notes turned on in the background. Hey, Bill. How's it going, buddy? Figured I'd pop on for a little bit and say a few things. You know, I'm sure everybody knows by now. We all lost somebody we knew. We, it always happens, but this is something that is kind of unique to our situation because, quite frankly, this, you know, I'm talking about Kerry. He's a he's a primary reason why a lot of us are hanging around or still together here. You know, um, he he's done a lot for a lot of people, myself included, and his hey Dylan, hey Don, yep. Rest in peace, Carrie. You know all the answers now. I'm not, I'm not trying to be too somber about it and not, try to drag people down. That's not what I'm trying to do. But, it just this has been bugging me all day. This is the first news I woke up to this morning. And it's bugged me all day. And it's made me think about a lot of stuff, you know, especially, the way things went down, it's you never know when your number's up. And you don't, it just, it, as suddenly as it happened, it left a lot of us stunned. And it couldn't hit anybody any harder than his wife and kids. And my heart goes out to him. I mean, we want to do right by others. We want to do the best we can, but I'm always telling my family I love them. Always. Because, I knew someone that their last words to their loved one was, hateful and spiteful, and they left about the same way Carrie did. And that this time this was a child, and the parent lost a child, and right before that happened, they'd had a big argument, and some hateful words were said to one another. And after that happens, you can't take it back, and you're haunted by that for a long time, probably for the rest of your days. So you want to. Me personally, I want to tell the people I love them as much and as often as I can because you never know. And it's like when I sign off here, when I say I love you, mean it. And those are true words. You guys You guys have all been around. Y'all have hung out with me many a night, just shooting the shit. We've all learned a few things here or there between one another. You know, this isn't going to be a really long show. I just wanted to pop on and more or less pay my respects. I don't know how I don't know of any other way to do it. I thought long and hard about what all I was going to do. I had a show planned out, and I think I'm just going to save that for another day. Hey, Jen. Seeing what you're saying there, Pyro. It's very well possible. Even if he had quit his job a few months back, would something else have happened? And he talked about hanging it up because it was getting too rough. But man, got to pay the bills, and I don't know. Am I coming through all right, guys? Can you hear me okay? My monitor ain't working, so I can't really tell. Something happened in my settings, and I got to go back in there and adjust them. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Hey, Rex. How you doing, buddy? Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, Dylan. Um, the big thing I was getting ready to talk about was because 9/11 just popped up, Sunday, and I was going to do a big show on that. I gathered up some material and all this other stuff, and I was going to talk about that big conspiracy and that mess. Um, I don't know. I am really unmotivated tonight. Uh, I debated whether it's actually going to come on. I'm surprised you guys, got a notification. You guys are here. I know there's quite a few people on right now, putting on shows and whatnot. Texas Front Porch is on. Hey, Papa C, how's it going, brother? Trying to get myself motivated here. Like I said, oh, clicker. My workstation's a mess. I've been doing some studying and just ain't straighten things up. But yeah, thoughts and prayers go out to Carrie's family, and um, just knowing that he knows all the answers now, and prayers for strength and healing and serenity for his family. Wow, look at that. Said that Don, you say that usually the notifications don't come through right. And I hardly ever get them. The ones I want anyway. And yeah, I'm glad they're coming through all right tonight. Uh, Trying to outsmart an elk. Yeah, that's something I've never done. I've always wanted to do is elk hunt. I ain't never done that. Looks like fun though. Let's see here. Hey, Claude, you know you ain't missed nothing. I ain't been on but maybe, 11 minutes or so. And just started. Didn't give anybody much of a heads up or a warning. It usually turns out better if I don't. If I throw out a notification, early, it's like it's out there in the ether somewhere and nobody's getting it. But if I just throw it out there, usually it's like, oh, hey, look, that idiot's on. Let's hear him flap his gums for a little bit. I bet. I bet. Wow. Shit, I'm watching chat. Well, I was struggling with a title. As you can tell, I titled this live Q&A. Because, frankly, like I said, I just didn't. I wasn't motivated to do anything but get on here and give a shout out to Kerry and pay my respects to his family best I could. But you guys got any questions? Throw them up there in chat. All caps if you would. I'll catch them. Let me see something here. I might pull it up anyway. Hold on just a second. Let's see if I can get in here and. Oh, here's a good one. you, Papa, you give me some. You give me a little inspiration here, so I just dug around and found something. I'm pretty good at finding that stuff pretty quick. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull this up here. See that? Everybody see that? When Bigfoot stalks elk, hunters beware. A U.S. Army sergeant stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado, decides to go turkey hunting and observes a Bigfoot. He later tells a private about his experience. He is then told a very interesting account. From 2005 to 2008, I was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. While there, my family and I enjoyed spending time hiking and adventuring all over. We encountered several beautiful native critters, including mountain lions and bears. During the spring of 2006, I thought I would give it a go and try to go turkey hunting around the base. I found a spot in an open unit and had several spots of good toms in the area. I got to the parking lot a little after dawn, and with just enough light to make my way through the brush without using a headlamp, I found what seemed like a good spot to set up, facing part of Cheyenne Mountain Range Park of this Pikes Peak. As the sun rose, I began calling and had a few turkeys gobble their response. Unfortunately, where I was, I couldn't tell exactly where they were because the way the mountain made everything echo. There's an old gravel road to my left, about 300 yards. At about 8:40 a.m., I heard a vehicle coming down the road and glanced over and saw a red pickup truck with at least two guys in it bouncing down the gravel road, driving west through the pass. As they approached the pass, I caught movement out of my right eye. I could see a large, dark-colored thing moving north away from the road. I picked up my binoculars and I found it again as it just began to scramble up one of the draws. I watched it move from my left to right, covering a great distance in almost no time. Just before it began scrambling up the rocky draw, I saw it turn and look back at the truck. In my mind, I first saw it as a bear. However, after a few minutes, I realized it was on two legs and not on four, running across the ground about 300 yards from me. It covered about 500 yards of brush and rocky terrain way quicker than a bear or anyone could have. As it scrambled up the draw, I could see it reach out with its hands to grip and pull itself up. It seemed like, in the blink of an eye, it was up and out of sight behind the trees and brush. I was trying to wrap my head around what I'd just seen. I finally gathered my gear and gun and began moving back to the truck. It hit me about the time I reached my truck exactly what I witnessed. Whoever was in the passenger seat of the truck, I believe, saw it too because it was that was is what directed my attention to the movement. That pointed quickly over the brake lights of the truck had tapped just before I saw the movement. As I loaded my gear into the truck, I began shaking with excitement, similar to after shooting a deer and processing what just happened. At the same time, I didn't want to stick around. Later, I looked up on the web and found there had been several sightings reported around the area. Later, speaking to one of my soldiers from the area around Omosa, I told him what I'd seen. He said they're here. They're all over the place. He said that he and his uncle were elk hunting about 5 years ago. My uncle pointed to the opposite ridge. He said, we're not the only ones hunting today." I picked up my rifle and looked through the scope, but my uncle smacked me on the back of the head. He said, "Don't do that. You'll piss them off." He handed me his binoculars, and I saw a large, hairy man tracking an elk just like we were from the opposite ridge. That's when my uncle told me it was time for us to go, and I needed to be extremely careful when elk hunting in the area. He said, "If you're ever by yourself in here and you come across one of them, tell him that you're just leaving and back away slowly. If he rushes you, because of some of them will try to hurt you, do not hesitate. Shoot and don't stop until you see him drop. Don't ever speak of it." I told my grandpa when we got home. He confirmed he had several sightings out while hunting elk. elk. So also confirmed to leave, but if attacked, shoot until the bullets are gone. So yeah, I know what you saw. Welcome to the family, Sergeant. That's crazy. Oh, I got one coming up. I'm doing a little bit more research and I'm going to throw some stuff together. And I'm going to start showing um, some of those pictures you sent me, brother. That's crazy. Hey, hiker. It's yeah, it's gotten around pretty quick when someone of carries notoriety um, passes into the great beyond. It gets around pretty quick. There's Ray, how you doing? Broke arm, bitch. Can you feel your fingers? Hey, Sandra. I'm gonna look in here and see who's all here tonight. Oh, yeah. Let's see. If that I don't know if you guys saw the stamp on that, the date that was released today. That story I just told. Um, that's pretty cool. Let's see. I've got a couple more here. If anybody's got any questions or comments or whatever, just holler at me. Good to see you too. Good to see everybody here. Let's see. Oh, crap. I need to resort my list. World of cryptids. Man, it's getting getting kind of rough out there. We're looking at pterodactyls and all kinds of other stuff. Doing a little paranormal news. Hope you guys don't mind. Richie Evans, how you doing, buddy? Raven Clan is up and running. Gosh almighty. Thank you guys so much for coming by and hanging out with me tonight. Like I said, it was kind of a impromptu thing. I just I sent it out there right before I went live, and that was it. I think I went live maybe 5 minutes after I posted. Drunk, you say? Oh yeah. Again, sorry about last week. Um, the way things panned out, it just I wasn't able to talk. I wasn't. I come down with this respiratory virus, and it kicked my ass. I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't talk. For probably about 2 days, which was a blessing to some people. And yeah, I would think it was one Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think it was, it was Tuesday morning. I started feeling rough. I mean, I thought I'd gotten over it, but so I went into work Monday, and then that was last week, and then Tuesday night. It was Tuesday night, and it really started hitting me. So my one day off on Wednesday, I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't even talk, and I felt like a whole bag of ass, and and I'm still coughing up stuff. Yeah, Clint. Let's see. Let's check this out. Tuesday, September 13th. Let's see. Here we go. Coming to you from. Let's see. No, that's, there we go. You see where I'm getting it from here? Phantom and Monsters 40 and Research. Um, let's see. Let's read this. Okay, pterodactyl-like bird observed flying near Alamogordo, New Mexico. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. You have laryngitis now? What's Jim think of that? That's awesome, dude. Ray, you ought to do that. Okay. The witness and his brother were recently driving near his home outside of Alamogordo, New Mexico. They noticed a large pterodactyl like creature flying near them and were shocked by the sighting. Here's the initial email that was sent. I have to be honest. I wasn't sure who to contact about this, but felt I had to report it to someone. On September 11th, 2022, my brother and I witnessed what I can only begin to describe as a pterodactyl like bird flying north to south. We saw the creature from approximately 100 feet away, and it was about 50 feet off the ground. It appeared to be 6 to 8 feet long, grayish in color, with a long, dark beak, approximately 1.5 feet long. Good God. Its wings were very long and tapered to a point. The tail was very strange, as it appeared to be maybe 2 to 3 feet long, straight and smooth, a couple inches around. At the end of the tail was some kind of roundish tip about the size of a baseball. I couldn't discern any feathers. The animal appeared gray and smooth. Thank you for your time. I just had to report this to someone. E. I contacted the witness by telephone. E states that he and his brother were driving in his neighborhood just outside the city of. For those unfamiliar with the location, Alamogordo is in the Tucson Basin of the Chihuahuan Desert. It is bordered on the east by the Sacramento Mountains, on the west by the Holloman Air Force Base. Ain't that funny? By an Air Force base? Yeah, a lot of these creatures are spotted around military installations. Kind of funny. You know. Anyway, here we go. It's also near the White Sands Missile Range and National Park. White Sands Missile Range National Park. Dude. Really? Okay. Now, here he goes. It says flying near them was the witness described as what he first thought was an oversized pelican. It was flying at an altitude of approximately 50 feet and close enough for him and his brother to distinguish detail. The long beak was very pronounced and long. The entire body was about 8 feet long, with membrane wings that were long and tapered to a point. The wingspan was about 12 feet. 8 foot long, 12-foot wingspan. I kind of would have thought maybe it might have been a little bit longer than that. I don't know. Anyway, the entire body was grayish in color. There was no hair, just smooth skin. There was also a long tail about the thickness and length of a baseball bat with a bulb-shaped formation on the end. It was flying north to south. It was deliberately and slowly flapping its wings while maintaining height and speed. Both witnesses were shocked at what they were observing and felt compelled to report the incident. I received a written report that same evening. The witnesses later stated that he had been outside grilling the night before. At the time, he heard several loud screeches coming from a distance and above, but could not determine what it was. There's an area near his home that is somewhat swampy with old growth trees. He plans to investigate the location for evidence. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there. Wow. When I started hearing reports of these creatures out there, it's like, you know, there's there was a large bird in I think it's pretty sure it's Native American folklore. It was called and it's also in some European folklore of a huge bird, a giant bird. I think here in America, North America, they call it a thunderbird, and in Europe they call it the rock, ROC. Not Dwayne Johnson, the Rock, but a rock, ROC. And it's a giant bird, and I've heard stories about that. That's crazy. I know, right? But when you're talking about White Sands Missile Range, National Park. Um, hmm. Makes you wonder. Things that make you go, hmm. Right? See, this is another topic I was going to get into. The whole Bigfoot UFO coalition. You know, um, it's weird. I mean, along the lines of being the weirdest stuff I've heard. When when we go around talking about Bigfoot and the sightings and when some of the phenomena that's associated with it when they're coming around residential areas and when they come around somebody's house, they hear the knocks and the wax on the house and the tapping and all this other stuff. A lot of what goes on there sounds quite a bit like poltergeist activity. And there could be times when people who are having quote poltergeist activity end quote, they're having Sasquatch activity. It's possible. It could be that they're misidentifying it all the way around. Um, it's it's hard to put a finger on, man. It's just one of those mysteries. It very well could have been. It could have been some type of drone. It very well could have been. Oh yeah, Stan Gordon did a lot of he did a lot of research out there. Took a lot of reports in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. Right around that tri-state area. And Maryland. Maryland, Ohio, uh, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, all along in there. And he the big ones. I mean, he traveled all over. He did. He traveled all over and took these reports. It very well could be too. I think a lot of it is that they make good stuff, man. Have you seen their latest UFO documentary? It's really good. Oh, let's see if we can bring this up here. Hold on just a second. Okay. Hold on, guys. Just a minute. Now, this was sent in just now. Claude sent this in. This is really interesting. This is a good find, Claude. Thank you. This does look like what they were describing. I mean, look at that beak here and right here, the spur right here on the tail. Interesting. Very well could be. Hey, Hoff, how's it going, buddy? Well, you hear, Papa used to mention poltergeist activity there. You know, I used to, I had to sit back and think about what happened with my situation um, when I told about my haunted house. All right. Um, I thought about what is that what's going on here? Could it have been a Sasquatch? There's a lot of that activity that happened in my house that happened during the day. With all my windows open, you'd think I would have saw something in broad daylight, right in the middle of the day. I mean, there would be a knock on one door, and I could literally see from the front door to the back door. The back door was a patio glass door, right? And there was a knock on that door, and it's like, what the hell? Okay, and I thought there for a little while that maybe it was something going on, but with Sasquatch. But I don't know. I think it was something actually that was actual uh, actual paranormal activity going on in that house. Mm, this is kind of a long one. Let's see. So Pennsylvania. Hey, novel idea, huh? Right? Maybe it's all connected. I need one of them sound effects machines, man. All connected. It's all connected. Universal consciousness. When we talking about all that quantum entanglement and all this other stuff. Uh, Jumping off of this subject for a second and what I've been, reading about some of the ancient civilizations, and yeah, it's hard for me to go back to my old way of thinking. It honestly, it truly is. Yep, I get this. I'm starting to get there. My sensitivity is gone way up here lately. I did a lot of exercises and cut a lot of stuff out of my diet to try and decalcify my pineal gland. Get it back to going. But it's if you're not using it, it's a weak muscle. So it's taken a lot of work to do, and I get headaches from time to time. But there's um there's something to it, man. Dude, that's bizarre. That is bizarre. Hey, no, I had that happen too. I still have that happen from time to time. Uh, it really makes you question your sanity. I'm not that goddamn absent minded to where I put something down, walk away from it, literally 5 seconds, turn around and go back. And what the hell did I do with X, Y, and Z? It was what? Where'd it go? And then it shows back up. I don't know. This right here is that right there, Jen, is aggravating. That's mm, mm, mm. This is something I haven't started in with yet on the numerology. I'm just figuring out, you know, a lot of this other stuff. Me and my wife were looking at houses, and before we bought this one, and there's one house we went into. The realtor, she was great. If you ever come into my area and she's still, selling homes, I would highly recommend this lady because she was top notch. She took us around and she went out of her way to, make sure we saw the houses and gave us all the info. But we went into this one house, and I'm a little bit. I wouldn't. I look for things more than she does, but when we went into this house, both of us looked at each other and said, "Hell no." We totally went on our gut that's no. Mm-mm. No. Let's do this here. You guys have got it going on tonight. Shadow person standing in the door. My stepson, my former stepson. I've been married before, and he had told me I was at work, right? He had told me one night he woke up and saw this figure standing in the doorway. It was the size and shape of a man. He thought it was me, and he hollered and said, "Lee, what are you doing, man?" Because it looked like I was. He said it looked like I was standing right in the doorway of his bedroom, and all he could see was this dark shadow, and it looked like it was leaning against the door jamb, right, and just looking at him. He said he felt like he was being stared at. He said, "Lee, what are you doing? What are you doing?" He said it just disappeared. It's like, what the hell? And then he got up and realized I wasn't even there. I wasn't home. So that's creepy. Wow. Papa, is it your house that's haunted, or maybe it's the land? Or is it just some type of energy fluctuation? That's crazy. 20 years you've been doing that. Oh yeah, the hide behinds. I did a series of stories about the hide behind um a couple of years ago. Oh yeah. Well, if that's all it does, man, it's just it's been doing that for 20 years and ain't nothing else happened. I wouldn't think too much of it either. It's just one of them things that happens. Um, Last Wednesday, tell that story. Yeah, see, there's a lot of this dimensional thing that I'm looking into when it comes to some paranormal activity, whether it's an actual spirit here or some type of manifestation of a interdimensional being. It's that wants to masquerade as someone else. Yeah, yeah. Like you're the ghost. It makes me think of that movie Nicole Kidman was in. How many of you have seen that movie, The Others? If you haven't seen it, I mean, it's a bit of a thriller. It's not super scary or anything like that, but it makes you think. And I don't want to give too much away of the movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you watch it to give you an idea of what that type of bleed through could be like. When let's just say that says something like that, you really should see the movie. I would totally say there is. And something makes us see these things, whether it's um, when you break things down. I always look at it this way. I mean, I'm no physicist, but I actually do have two brain cells to rub together, and actually, I get a spark every now and then, and it tells me that you break down everything into three levels. Your energy, frequency, and vibration. We're made up of energy. We vibrate at uh, we vibrate at a frequency. So we're all of these things. We're all of these things. We're all made up of energy, and we're part of a collective consciousness, which ties into the whole string theory thing. We're all tied together. There's many scientists, and I need to dig around and I need to pull up all this data that talks about it falls along the where ideas some ideas come from. People have epiphanies and have these brilliant ideas, and it could be that the theory goes that somewhere either in another dimension or somewhere in time in space, a couple of light years away, you're on the same wavelength as whoever is projecting this thought travels light years in distance and hits your brain like a receptor, or something like that could happen vice versa. You have an idea and it's broadcast to someone else. And it's an exchange of ideas that happen that way. So, with that being said, what you say, could it be that something's making us see this stuff? I absolutely positively think that is so. You have the perfect storm effect where you're in a situation where your vibrational frequency matches the frequency of the area you are in, and you'll see different things. I don't know, maybe. Absolutely. That's you have your ability to you know sense direction. You have your ability to sense danger. um I mean, you've got a certain amount of metal in your blood anyway. I've never heard about my ears ringing, but when somebody is, I feel like somebody's thinking about me or talking about me, um, my nose itches. Amen to that. I hate to be a ghost whisperer or some crap like that. That would be that would be rough. Um, Copper, quartz, and granite. Look at those conductors right there. Energy conductors, man. I think they're bleeding in. I really do. I've talked about that. That theory that I have. Shit, you're scared of me. Love y'all. Love y'all. Okay. Like radio signal, cell signal, Wi-Fi, anything. Absolutely. It's like Jen says. I believe, and I've talked about this too. The veil's getting thinner, and you can get into spiritual debate or scientific debate. I think it all boils down to about the same thing. Um, there's a separation between us and the next dimension, the next reality. And I think that maybe at some point or other, it's been said by certain people that, these atomic explosions that we've set off over a number of years, and that's between us, the Soviet Union, and China, and whoever else is doing it, and smashing atoms at these CERN facilities are ripping open um, portals and sending shock waves through the known universe and the unknown universe. As so, say 5G, yeah, 5G, man. I don't know about all that. That's a deep question because it's when you think about it, when you look at children and animals, how they interact differently with you know paranormal events, how they're more susceptible or more sensitive to it than adults are, it would tend to lead one to believe that maybe that the veil, if we want to call it, is something that is something we construct over some point in time. Sin City. He is living in Sin City, man. Uh, yeah, things are weird there. I've often thought that too. That's been my primary theory. It's like when you reach that that veil, the that thinness is kind of like how it's how I explained it. This is how my theory goes. It's like when you're listening to your favorite radio station and you get out, just starting to get out of range of that radio station, but there's another radio station on that same frequency, and they just kind of bleed together, and you can see both. You know, says the man who's in the avionics, the man behind the curtain. Be that guy, Hoff. More famous than 50 Cent. uh, gonna be 75 cents. Yeah, that's inflation, bruh. Inflation. Yeah. There's just there's so many different angles you could go at this, and just I'd love to be able to pin it all down. I'm still working on different things, you know, different theories. It's modifying and changing. It's a work. I'm a work in progress. And see this right here. The frequencies interfere with each other all the time. That's why I'm wondering if ours are being blocked or affected, but in some way. Um, yeah, I do. I'd say we're on to something, guys. Papa, that's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to hear it. What am I doing to open my third eye? I am staying away from fluorides for one. There's truth to that. Um, and I'm trying to, as much as possible, stay away from processed foods that keep your body in a constant state of inflammation and blocking things off. I do a little bit of meditation in the morning. First thing I do when I get up in the morning, when I was really hammering away at it, is I would watch the sunrise when it's just peeking right up over the mountain, you know. And it's that light receptor. The pineal gland's a light receptor, and it produces all your these your dopamine, your melatonin, uh, and it produces certain amounts of DMT also. So there's breathing techniques also. Certain yoga that you can do. A lot of breathing techniques, and just sit and concentrate. Just feel it, and once everything starts popping, for me, I feel a pressure right here in my forehead. This is where you'll feel it in your brain, but you feel your third eye open, and you'll feel that pressure. You'll be able to. A lot of things start coming to you. You got to be really careful. That flood will overwhelm you. So it's true. This is true. No, that's cool, man. It's exactly right. That's why we're all here. Yeah. Serotonin. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Thanks, Ray. I've missed you. Uh, hey, keto's a wonderful diet, man. Keto's a wonderful diet, and if you can get on it and stay on it as long as possible, then to flush your system. Yeah, when you actually realize, when you walk through the store, and you're doing your excuse me, you're doing your grocery shopping, and you're actually looking at the ingredients list of the stuff you're buying when you're on a keto diet and all this other stuff. You look and see what keto is terrible. Don't hand me that. I love keto. As a matter of fact, if I could get on a carnivore diet and stay on it, I'd be on it all the time. Meat, and more meat. But if you look and see what's on the ingredients list of what's out there, you see that everything on the shelves in there is going to kill you. Everything's trying to kill you. If you stay away from processed food, if you can do that, stay grass fed beef and free range chickens. I used to laugh at all this stuff. You know, I used to laugh at all this stuff many moons ago, and stay away from. You're absolutely right about the GMO. Stay away from all that. um, hell yeah, absolutely. Bacon and eggs for breakfast. I lost 30 pounds. Uh, that's right. Right, just stay away from that stuff. Here lately, I've been kind of trying to ease myself into it. Been cutting back on certain foods, because I'd gotten off of keto and started eating like shit again and gained probably about 2/3 of my weight back. Still don't feel all that bad, but I've got a lot of my blood pressure issues under control and my blood sugar levels under control. I'm not having the problems with my circulation as much as I used to. Getting more exercise and eating better. So um, a lot of it has to do with your diet. Absolutely, it's an absolutely everything. This right here, this is the only vinegar I buy. The apple cider vinegar, brag, yeah, with Mothers. That's the only one I buy. Absolutely, absolutely. And you got leaky gut, or you need to detoxify your liver. Yeah. Hell yeah, Papa. See, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. There we go. Look, man, congratulations. Congratulations. I mean, my hat's off to you, sir. Hats off to you. I mean it. Because, that's no small feat. And, eating eating those veggies too, man. Get the right amount of your leafy greens in. And yep. And I hope you stay that way, darling. I really do. Um yeah. Let's see. What is the so if you ever here's some suggested reading just for, just for the hell of it to look at. Um, I've shown it before, but I'll show it again. Um, Considering the age of this book and the content that's in it, um, I think more people need to read it, and it's this one right here. You don't. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. If you don't feel like actually buying the book, you can find the audio version on YouTube. So right here on YouTube, if you want to look for the Kabbalion, look it up and take your time to go through it because you really need to pay. That's one of those things. It's like a James Bond movie. You really need to pay attention to what the hell's going on. Um, and then there's another one that I would suggest reading. It's called The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall. Great guy. And if you want to listen to any of his lectures, they're old, but the guy's he was decades, decades ahead of his time. Um, he was brilliant man. And I've got Ray Dodd, I think, for turning me on to that gentleman. And if you want to, like I said, if you want to listen to any of his lectures, check him out on YouTube. You could find it under Manly P Hall, and he's got his own YouTube channel. Well, somebody put it up. I don't think he did it, but him, yep, he's a good one to listen to. Let's see. Well, I sworn to goodness. Oh, here we go. There we go. Let's see. Give me a second here. Get out of there. And for those of you who are ready to take the leap, Jordan Maxwell, if you can listen to any of his lectures, that's right, there we go. Alan Watts and Dolores Cannon. It's great. It's great stuff. And Jordan Maxwell. Um, mm, let's see. Okay. Yeah, just start off with those. Just start off with those guys. Jordan, symbology is something I'm really starting to get into now because it just boggles my mind at what's gone on. Uh, Symbology is just crazy. Oh, and it's in everything, dude. Everything. Um, that's freaking awesome. Gonna scare the shit out of the doctor. Yeah, man. I'd love to get back down to 220. That is my best weight. Talking about symbology as a secret language, it really truly is. And it's simple things as words developed in the English language. The you you've heard this saying, the pen is mightier than the sword. Sword. How do you spell that? SWORD. You drop the S when you got word. Huh? Huh? Crazy, huh? Sword, word. Word is a sword. It's how you use, and it's just it begins from there, and it's a whole classification of just mind blowing shit. Okay, yeah. Is this one? The pen is mightier than the sword. And what does the pen write? Words. Drop the S from sword and you have word. It's that simple thing, that simple little thing right there that blows your mind. And Jordan Maxwell is a master at showing you this. Manly P. Hall has a whole lecture on it. I've still yet to be able to make it all the way through. Something doesn't want me to get through it. I'm telling you, something doesn't want me to get through it because I will be about halfway and something comes up and I have to stop listening to it. I have to stop. Mm-hmm. Etymology. Um, it's good stuff, man. Broaden your mind. It's all about what we've been doing here tonight, and the conversation here is is wonderful. And every time we come on here, we're talking about something, and I come by better for it because you guys are bright, motivated thinkers. You think outside the box. You're not afraid to step outside the box and look at it and say, "Hey, y'all ignorant. I'm going to choose my own path." You know, march your way to the beat of a different drum. And I absolutely love it. I come by, like I said, I come by here, and every time I leave, I'm smarter for it. And you guys are the fucking greatest. That's when you know you're doing something right. I was put in a box the biggest portion of my adult life. And I crawled out of that box, and it was like I was going to fall up into the sky. It's like when the dwarves first reach the surface after living centuries underground. They come up and look at this in the sky, and they feel like they're going to fall off the earth and fall into the sky. That's about how I felt. It was just like, whoa, what the hell? And you just you just look at things so different. And it's you can't go back. And I don't I don't try to force my views onto anybody. There's lots of times when I hear people talking about this, that, and the third, and I know what they're talking about is their indoctrination. And I remember when I was under the chains of slavery, when I was, slave bound by the chains of that indoctrination since I was old enough to understand um, verbal language. Absolutely. It really is. And I'll be honest with you, I mentioned this before that when my eyes were fully opened, I was blind. I was still blind. And it was hard for me to see everything because it was all coming at me at once. It was hard for me to understand. And I started grasping at things a little bit at a time. I can only you have to spoon feed this baby. It's some of us are fortunate enough to be in a state of mind to where we're open to receive this information. We're open to we're open to grow. And it doesn't matter how old or young you are. It doesn't matter. As long as you're awake, you're free. And there's nothing like it, personally. And when I see people that are dragged down by these chains of indoctrinative thought and change is growing. Richie, I'm sorry, buddy. Maybe you can go back and watch the hour and 26 minutes that's left. That's no truer words have been spoken, Jen. You're absolutely right. Once you've been hit by that, it's scary and thrilling at the same time. Because, especially when it comes down to um, religious views, you know, once you're open to that, once you're open to all that, it's scary, because all these fire and brimstone sermons that have been forced down your throat, um, you just you're scared to go there, right? You are you're scared to go there, and and me and Dylan were talking about this here not too long ago, and he said if you were to go, and we were having a deep conversation about this, if you go to a normie with this type of information, and this normie is what we are not, we're far from that. Um, they'd look at you like you were a lunatic and done lost your mind. Dark Raven. And sometimes I go that way, man. Sometimes I go that way. It's a dark road we travel, but we've got to be the light. We have to be the light in that road. What happened on Moog's show? Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. Well, you guys are absolutely great. Thanks, Hoff. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for coming by and hanging out and sharing in this conversation. And it's been a great night because everybody here has contributed a a ton. You guys are giants in my book. Good night, Sandra. You guys, thank you. Like I said, I can't thank you enough. And I'll say I'll, I'll say this, and I think we got to give thanks to Carrie, as corny as that sounds, because he told me, he said, "You do what you got to do, man." He said, I remember him telling me, I said, "I think you're crazy for going out there in them woods by yourself, but you keep doing what you're doing. Just be careful." Good night, hiker. Good night, buddy. Glad you could come by. Uh, And he said, "You just keep doing what you're doing." And he encouraged me, because I've been struggling a little bit by keeping the channel going. And I asked him about it. I asked him how he keeps going. He said it's just it says so. He said it was something he had to do. And you're right. And this channel's evolved over the past couple of years. It started out one thing and evolved into something else, and now it's evolved into this right now. And it's a place where we come to share information and ideas and just fellowship. That's what I love to call the Raven Clan here. It's a fellowship, and I want to send uh, my love and appreciation out to Kerry, God rest him, and his wife and family, and for being here for me when I was down and giving me support when I didn't have any. And you guys have felt a lot of that too. A lot of you have, and that's how I've met a lot of you through Kerry. Being on his show numerous times, and here we go. The Ravens Outpost is here. Hopefully, it's here to stay. The Raven Clan is here, and we fellowship every time we come together. And like Ray says, growth is change, or change is growth, and we change as we go. And yeah, we're here. And thank you guys again for stopping by. And I'm going to try and put something together for Saturday night. I don't know if it'll. Don't hold me to it. Don't hold me to it. But I'm going to try to do it. And guys, I really love you guys. I really do. And thank you so much. Until next time, guys. I love you, and I mean it. Bye.